Hello, my dear children. Welcome to today's class. Children, today let us learn a new story from your textbook. The last story. What is the name of the story? Yes, the name of the story is Pinocchio. This story is adapted from the long story of Pinocchio. Shall we start? So, children, look at the textbook. Once upon a time, an old carpenter bought a very pure piece of wood. As he used his plane on it, he heard a little laughing voice say, "Stop, you are tickling me." So, once upon a time, there was an old carpenter. Carpenter is a person who is working with wood. So, he bought a very pure piece of wood. Pure means strange or unusual. See, so he bought a pure piece of wood. As he used his plane on it, he heard a little laughing voice say. So he started using his plane to shape the wood. So plane is a tool used by the carpenter to shape wood. So he started shaping the wood and suddenly he heard a laughing voice. So what was that voice? "Stop, you are tickling me." So you are tickling me. That voice said. Tickling means, to tickle means a soft touch made by somebody to laugh someone. The old man was puzzled by the voice. So on hearing this voice, the old man was confused. Puzzled means confused. So he felt confusing that from where does the voice come? Then he said, "This is a strange piece of wood. What shall I do with it? I think I will make it into a puppet." So he said to himself, this is a strange piece of wood. So what will I make with this? Yes, I will make a puppet out of it. Children, have you seen puppets? Yes, puppet is a moving object that can be controlled by strings. Then he set to work, and as the puppet boy took shape, the old man said, "He must have a name. I will call him Pinocchio." And he started working, and he made a puppet out of it. And he decided to give that puppet boy a name, and he called the puppet boy Pinocchio. As soon as he finished making the eyes, the carpenter was amazed to see them move. So when he started finishing the eyes, it started to move, and he was surprised to see that the eyes were moving. Before the mouth was made, it began to laugh. So before he made the mouth, it started laughing. And at that time, the carpenter said, "Stop laughing." The old man said, "It did stop, but as soon as his back was turned, it put out its tongue and its nose grew long." So children, so it stopped laughing, and when he turned back, what did the puppet do? It put out its tongue, and at that time the nose of the puppet grew longer. No sooner were its hands ready than it snatched off the carpenter's wig and put it on its own head. And then Pinocchio's nose grew longer. Then what happened? Yes, when the hands were made, it snatched off the carpenter's wig and put it in his own head. It wore it in its head. The Pinocchio, that puppet, wore that wig in its head, and at that time also Pinocchio's nose grew longer. So children, whenever this Pinocchio showed any naughtiness, its nose started growing. When its legs and feet were made, they were too stiff to use. So the carpenter showed Pinocchio how to use them. Then its legs and feet were made, and it was too stiff to move. And at that time, the carpenter showed that puppet Pinocchio how to use them. So that carpenter trained Pinocchio how to use the feet. Okay, how to walk. And Pinocchio started walking. Now the carpenter decided to send Pinocchio to school, but there Pinocchio did nothing but look for fun. He often ran away from school. So children, and now the puppet boy was ready and he could be able to see, walk, run. Okay, and now this carpenter decided to send this puppet to school. But what happened in the school? Pinocchio did not listen in the class. He always made fun in the class and he made the children laugh. And most of the time he ran away from the school. Why don't you go to school? Asked the carpenter. Pinocchio told him a lie, and his nose started growing longer and longer. And Pinocchio, that when he returned from school, this carpenter asked Pinocchio, why don't you go to school? And at that time also Pinocchio told a lie. And whenever this puppet showed any naughtiness or told any lie, its nose started growing. Each time he was rude to someone or told a lie, his nose grew longer whenever he was rude. So he misbehaved and or told any lie. Its nose started growing. And finally Pinocchio said, I'm glad to be a real boy. I will never lie again. So Pinocchio felt very much sad that his nose is always growing. So he told that
he would like to be a real boy. Glad means happy. So he told that he would be happy if he will become a real boy, and he told that he will never lie again.